وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما. So we'll go through the rest of the talk about Allah Azza wa Jalla. Move now to talk about Al-Hajj. And Allah Azza wa Jalla said, وَأَتِمُّوا أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وَأَتِمُّوا الْحَجَّ وَالْعُمْرَةَ لِلَّهِ. So complete Hajj and Umrah for the sake of Allah. فإن أحصرتم فما استيسر من الهدي. أحصرتم here when you can't perform certain rituals in Hajj. Now in Hajj, as you know, there's 4 pillars, which is Niyyah. Usually they do Niyyah with Ihram. Some take Ihram as a pillar, but it is the Niyyah is the pillar, because Ihram, women don't have Ihram, and Ihram, if you are unable to put Ihram, you sacrifice a sheep, so it's not a pillar. But the pillar Hajj is not valid at all. You have to come back and complete it. أتموا الحجة والعمرة لله. So when you have, like, you missed the arrival tawaf, or you missed departure tawaf, or you missed the stoning of the devil symbols, or you missed staying in Muzdalifah, or you missed staying in Mina for 3 days or 4 days, 4 nights, or you couldn't shave your head, or you've done any of the other mistakes like killing an animal or putting perfume, whatever, then فَإِنْ أُحْصِرْتُمْ, you couldn't do all the rituals, then فَمَا اسْتَيْسَرَ مِنَ الْهَدِي. Now, whatever you can afford from the Hadi is what you give to the people of Mecca, which is you slaughter the sheep and you divide it between the poor people of Mecca. And do not shave your head, do not cut your hair until the Hadi يبلغ الهدي محله, until the sheep are actually in Mecca and you're slaughtering the sheep for the poor and to compensate for what you missed, you didn't do. I couldn't wear my other shoes than mine, so I had to keep my shoes on and slaughter a sheep, offer a sheep. Now they take the money from you and they slaughter sheep on your behalf, and they freeze it and export it, they said. But you need to shop around, because my son, when he went with his wife this Hajj, they said £300, and he shopped around and he found for 160, so nearly half the price. So this is, you need to be careful. When I went in 2005, it was only £50. So فمن كان منكم مريضا أو به أذى من رأسه, if you are sick or you have a disease on your scalp, on the top of your head, you have to wear hat, or you have to put rub some gauze or something, dressing. Some people could have injuries and things and have dressing. Then they need to either fast or give charity or nusuk. Later he will say you need to fast 3 days in Hajj and 7 days when you go back, or feed 10 people. فأمنتم فمن تمتع بالعمرة إلى الحج. Should compensate in either fast or feed the poor or offer sacrifice. So فإذا أمنتم فمن تمتع بالعمرة إلى الحج فما استيسر من الهدي. Now he's talking here, because there are 3 types of Hajj. Iqran, you do Hajj and Umrah in one go without any interruption. You have to slaughter a sheep because you made advantage of doing both in one trip, and it's cheaper for you, because if you do Hajj and you go back home and you come back for Umrah, it's much expensive. So it's okay to do both in the same setting, and especially when you are not staying for long. you can do them in less than a week. 6-7 days will be enough to do Umrah and Hajj. But if somebody enjoyed staying there, he could do Umrah, then take Ihram off, cut his hair, take Ihram off, and wait till the day 8 of the Dhul Hijjah, put on his Ihram from his hotel, and go to Arafat, start the Hajj. So, but he has to slaughter a sheep now.
So after your Umrah, when you take out your ihram and you then step on the 8th day, you put on ihram again with the niyyah. Do you have to go to miqat again?
No, from your hotel.
Well,
from your hotel. Because miqat is far away. That's from your hotel you do it. But you have to offer a sacrifice. If you don't have enough money, and I was listening to Imam Sha'rawi, he was saying, you need to teach yourself, teach others that you really need to take enough money to, if you miss wajib, because the 4 rukun, the 4, niyyah, sa'i, tawaf, and standing on Arafat, this 4. You have to do all of them. Can't have Hajj valid without them. But the wajib is arrival, tawaf, departure, tawaf, and then staying in Muzdalifah, stoning the devil symbol, and then staying in Mina for 3 nights, cutting the hair, and this has to be done as a wajib. If you can't do them, then you slaughter a sheep for each. If somebody cut trees or hunt, then there should be 2 judges to judge what the punishment should be. It's not necessarily slaughter a sheep, but could be. But Sheikh Sha'rawi was saying, they leave it to the last minute. Oh, we couldn't do this. Have to slaughter a sheep. We haven't got the money. You need to fast 3 days in Hajj, but we're going tomorrow. So you need really to educate that you can't leave it to last minute because you could get caught. فَمَنْ لَمْ يَجِدْ, so he has to fast for 3 days in Hajj while in there. Usually it's makruh to fast Arafat for Hujjaj. They don't fast the day of Arafat, while for us it's sunnah to fast Arafat. It's really very difficult and very tiring, and many people find it extremely hot. So 3 days in Hajj and 7 days when you go back, إذا رجعتم. And then he said that would be 10 days. So why he said that would be 10 days? We know 3 plus 7 equal 10. Any guess? Because
continues.
No, because Allah doesn't want them to leave it to the last minute. Oh, we have the caravan is going, the plane is going, the bus is going. So it has to be 10 complete days. So it can't be like 9 or 11 or it's okay, I'm near the 10. No.
Yeah, just to confirm my understanding, you said there's a 4, but my understanding is Arafat, it cannot be replaced, you have to do it.
that is the Hajj.
This is what I said. The 4, niyyah, obviously has to be lillah. أتم الحج وعمرة لله niyyah. And tawaf and sa'i and standing in Arafat. These 4, any of them he misses, he had to come back and do it. Arafat, day 9. Can't be day 8 or day 10. And many of those who say, oh, it's the wrong hilal, they didn't spot it, Saudi are wrong. What I was suggesting, that all these 5 million Hajj is not valid. They missed Arafat. So the government said Arafat is this day. Stop arguing, because they muddle people and create a lot of confusion. So, but you can leave sa'i and tawaf till the end of the Hijjah. There is no need to do it on the day, and that's a blessing from Allah. Arafat could take 5 million, but the Holy Mosque, no matter how much I enlarged it, is still very difficult, because if you want to make each round out upstairs is 7 miles. It's quite a long walk. And so is it 7 miles or a mile? A mile. I don't know, but it's quite a long walk. 7 miles, probably the seven rounds. Yeah, probably. So it is quite tiring, especially many people are elderly or disabled and hot. And we used to do when we went, we found the best time is to make tawaf. This is Kaaba, and this is black stone, and this is the whole of the downstairs. When I went with my mother in 1978, tawaf was around here, and the rest is people sitting there. Now tawaf is all of it. But you will find when you go that the closer you are to the Kaaba, the more difficult. The closer you are to the distance here is very jammed. The best one is here in the middle, and the best is actually around 2-3 o'clock in the morning. So and in spite of that, it was a lot of people. So ذلك لمن يكن أهله حاضري المسجد الحرام. If you are living in Mecca, then you fast all the 10 days in Mecca. It's not there's no 3 days in Mecca and 7 outside. واتقوا الله, be mindful of Allah, fear Allah Azza wa Jal, and know that Allah is severe in punishment. وَاعْلَمُوا أَنَّ اللَّهَ شَدِيدُ الْعِقَابِ. Because people try to mess things or deprive people of Mecca of the sacrifices and things, and try to cut short or cut corners. And then Allah Azza wa Jal said, Al-Hajj ashhurun ma'lumat. The time of Hajj is these 3 months. Muharram, Dhul Qa'dah, Dhul Hijjah, and Muharram. So you start from Dhul Qa'dah, because people used to come from quite distance, coming and going back. But the time of Hajj is these 3 months. فَمَنْ فَرَضَ فِيهِنَّ الْحَجِّ. Now farada here, they say, you oblige yourself to go to Hajj. So it could be your first Hajj, or the Fard Hajj, could be the Sunnah Hajj. But once you decided and you made the effort to go, you have to carry on. Once you started, you need to finish. So here's why Farada fihin al-Hajj, I made Farad upon himself in these months to go to Hajj, become obligatory on you to fulfill your promise to go to Hajj. فَلَا رَفَثَ, لا رفث, to sleep with the wife, and anything which go that direction, fluttering with the wife, talking about the act itself, touching her, the sexual touch and things, it's not allowed. فلا رفث ولا فسوق ولا جدال في الحج. And there's no obscenity, no wickedness, and no wrangling in Hajj. ولا فسوق, do things which is haram and foul language and things, and no argument in Hajj. ولا جدال في الحج. This is why sometimes people could get caught, because they can't haggle the prices if they want to buy things or they want to get a taxi and things. You just take it or leave it, which sometimes could be to your disadvantage. When we went to Hajj in 2005, we asked, where is the out-town shopping center? And they told us. We went there and we bought the presents, the normal price of Mecca people. But Hajjaj are not going to go to that far, or they don't have the language, so they ain't buying from around the Haram. And no jidal, they buy sometimes very expensive. The trip at that time from Mina to Mecca, which was cost outside Hajj 7 riyal or 10 riyals, it would take 50 riyals or 75, depends on. They don't argue. ولا جدال في الحج. وما تفعلوا من خير يعلمه الله. Whatever good you do, Allah Azza wa Jalla is aware of it, He knows it. And تزودوا فإن خير الزاد التقوى. وتزودوا. Now, before go to Hajj, you have to get enough food, and probably if you can take a drink, but probably difficult, and enough money and enough clothing. Well, he said that when I went to Hajj, and my mother came from Syria with my auntie, and I was in Riyadh. I met them in Jeddah, and my mother just applied this. She brought with her fried meat and dried vegetables and things, and bamia, and quite a few things, just ready to eat in Hajj without buying anything. So I said to my mother at that time, "You want to ask me a question, Adam? Yeah? Come here, come near us. Come here, come near us to hear you." What's that?
What do you want to ask?
Are we allowed a secret? So I think because we're not allowed to arguing because you have to be quiet in Hajj.
What did he say? Come near here, we couldn't hear you.
Tell Daddy.
Something to be, it's talking about something to be quiet in
I'm
Hajj.
just gonna move seats.
Yeah? What's your question?
So I think there's no arguing because
Yeah, there's no arguing in Hajj. Can't argue.
you're not allowed to be that loud.
No. And no foul language and no swearing. And so, تزودوا, because no matter how much they have at that time, obviously now they import a lot of things. No matter, it will not be enough to feed the hundreds of thousands at that time. Now nearly 5 million go to Hajj. When I went in 2005 in Jeddah, they told me, the officers there, passport officers, said they processed 3.25 million from Jeddah alone. And there's many come to Medina first, and then many come through the land, and many come through the sea. So the estimate, most Muslims say around 5 million. Although now they narrowed down the things, and there's a lot of exclusion and things, there's still a lot of people, still a lot. So you need a lot of zad, tazawwud, bring your own food, but you buy from there with the extra you have. So try to be secure for the period you're going, and you cannot go and say, I will work in Mecca and earn my living and buy food. No, not allowed. Because Allah said, tazawwadu, before you go to Hajj. And the best, obviously, things you bring with you to Mecca is taqwa, being fearful of Allah, being mindful of Allah. But food and drink is actually included, especially food. And especially you have to have money if you want to buy extra than you need. What I said to my mother at that time, I said, okay, we need this in Riyadh because we haven't got these delicious things, and we will buy sandwich and things. And because the cooking was not easy at that time, there used to be the habit of cooking in Medina, in Mina and in Arafat, and caused a lot of fires. So the government now banned it.
Are you allowed to trade? I think
it will come in a minute. Yeah. وَاتَّقُونِ يَا أُولِي الْأَلْبَابِ. Allah Azza wa Jalla talking about people who have brain, who are of high ability to figure out things and say, yes, this is correct, and this must be mindful of this, must be mindful of that. So be mindful of Allah, fear Allah Azza wa Jalla, you who have the understanding, those who are wise. And لَيْسَ عَلَيْكُمْ جُنَاحٌ أَن تَبْتَغُوا فَضْلًا مِنْ رَبِّكُمْ. So there's no harm for you to buy or sell things. So you are there and you brought things you can sell, which is extra to your needs, and you buy things which you have extra money to buy, but don't rely on trading. So you need to have the zad, enough for you to go and come back, but you can trade and earn more money by selling or buying to take back home. So that Allah says fadlan, fadlan. Fadl, when father shay, you have a glass of water, you fill it till it's full and the water start dropping. And that extra you don't need. So that's the fadl. And if it's comes from it, ifada and يبتغوا فضلا من ربكم. So that's extra from Allah Azza wa Jal. And when you leave Arafat, فإذا أفضتم من Arafat, again Allah used the word أفضتم, which comes from ifada and fadl and ziyada. And أفضتم because Allah Azza wa Jal knows that there are always going to be a lot of people. And because a lot of people, they will become like, overflowed, overspilled. So أفضتم because people, so many of them, they start walking. Now, because they have buses to take them, you will find that people, there's too many of them, they don't want to wait for the buses. When we went, we didn't actually wait for the bus at all. We walked from Mina to Arafat, and then we walked from Arafat back to Muzdalifah. And you don't have to ask for the way to Muzdalifah because there's crowds and crowds of people going. So you just follow the crowd. Because and ayah, Allah said, follow the crowd. Where the people walk, team walk. And usually people know where they're going, and it's going to be tens of thousands. It's not like, few people might get lost here or there. فإذا أفضتم من عرفات فاذكروا الله عند المشعر الحرام. You have to mention Allah Azza wa Jal in Muzdalifah. And that's a wajib. If you don't stay in Muzdalifah, you have to sacrifice a sheep. And when we went walking, we arrived to Muzdalifah, but far outside Muzdalifah. We can see the sign from Muzdalifah. It says from here Muzdalifah. But we couldn't get there because people are asleep. They are asleep there. And we couldn't walk on top of people. So I said to my wife, look, we're going to miss Muzdalifah. So we'll go back to Mina and we will sacrifice a sheep. So we followed the route of the buses, and the buses seem to be going from the top there and then go back in the middle of Muzdalifah. So when we reached the middle of Muzdalifah, we can't go back to Muzdalifah. So we went back to Muzdalifah and stayed. Now my son sent us a video. They put them in a large tent, men, women, children, all of them, and people sleeping, I think it was a mess. When I was with my wife, we just sat in a quiet corner and things, and then when the morning came, we went early for stoning the big devil. So we didn't walk. We saw a lorry going towards Mina, and they gave us a lift. We paid them. They gave us a lift. We didn't walk. So I went to Mina. We didn't actually sleep as such. We were just sitting in Muzdalifah. وَاذْكُرُوهُ كَمَا هَدَاكُمْ. Thank Allah Azza wa Jal because He is the one who guided you. And you were before that, you were from Darleen. You didn't find your way. You were lost. Didn't know what to do. So you finish Muzdalifah and then أفيدوا من حيث أفاض الناس. So follow the crowd. ثم أفيدوا من حيث أفاض الناس. You follow the crowd and you go back to Mina where you stone down the big devil from the sunrise till midday. But now there's so many people. They keep throwing till midnight, and then next morning we saw people coming at 2 o'clock to stone down.
I went at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, and the scholar said, you have no choice because you can't. But we went before sunrise because it's allowed for women to go before sunrise, and I accompanied my wife. So the beauty when I did Hajj, the second Hajj, and the first Hajj, but the second Hajj that I knew all the way and I didn't follow the group. I left the group. We never went back. We stayed in the tent one night only. We never went back in Mina. So, but you need to know, obviously, before you go. ثم أفيضوا من حيث أفاض الناس. You go back to Mina and ask Allah Azza wa Jalla to forgive you. Allah is all forgiven and all merciful. And then when you finish your manasik rituals, you finished now. You finished Tawaf al-Qudum. You finished standing on Arafat, you finished Muzdalifah, you went and stoned the devil, and you went and cut your hair, and then presumably you did your Tawaf al-Ifadah and Sa'i on the first, on day 10 or day 11 or day 12, but you've done most of the rituals, and they used to sit in Mina the day 11, 12 and 13, and could be also 14, but they used to sit there, and every tribe used to mention how brilliant their fathers were and how brilliant their tribe is, and they mentioned their fathers and grandfathers, great-grandfathers, and compete with poetry before Islamic era, and Allah Azza wa Jalla said no, because you want to mention your father and his father, grandfather, then you reach Adam. Then Adam, who is going to mention? Thank who? Allah. So go straight to Allah and mention Allah Azza wa Jalla. And فَاذْكُرُوا اللَّهَ كَذِكْرِكُمْ آبَاءَكُمْ, or more, likely will be mention your own fathers, or even more. And then Allah Azza wa Jalla said, some they say, وَإِنَّ النَّاسَ مَنْ يَقُولُ رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا وَمَا لَهُ فِي الْآخِرَةِ مِنْ خَلَاقٍ. The people who are only interested in this dunya, and they want things in this dunya, and they miss everything in the hereafter. And some people ask Allah Azza wa Jalla for goodness in this life and goodness in the hereafter, and ask Allah to protect them from hell fire. وَمِنْهُمْ مَنْ يَقُولُ رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا حَسَنَةً. You're taking good things in this life. وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنَةً, want good things in next life, and protect us from hell fire. Allah Azza wa Jalla said, أُولَٰئِكَ لَهُمْ نَصِيبٌ مِمَّا كَسَبُوا. They will have a share of what they have earned. Now, kasabu is something you earned halal. اكتسبوا, something he earned in haram way. لها ما كسبت وعليها ما اكتسبت. Like in end of Surah Al-Baqarah. And Allah Azza wa Jalla said, لا تؤاخذنا نسينا واخطأنا ربنا ولا تحملنا إصرا كما حملته على الذين من قبلنا ربنا ولا تحملنا ما لا طاقة لنا به واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا أنت مولانا وانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. It's actually before that. If we go to end of Al-Baqarah, لها ما كسبت وعليها ما اكتسبت. No, we didn't go back.
It's 285.
Yeah. لها لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها. Allah will not oblige anybody to do more than what he knows he can do. And لها ما كسبت, you will have the reward for what you earned in halal. وعليها ما اكتسبت, and you have to be accountable for what it earned in haram way. Now kasabat is halal and it's easy, and you see the verb is actually shorter. اكتسبت, the verb is longer. ما زاد في المبنى زاد في المعنى. So it make, like the thief, he make a lot of effort to steal. He keep studying the. They told us, the police, they said, because we were burglared once, and they said they study how they're going to burger for 2 months, and they keep an eye and study your habit, when you go, who you go, how you go, whatever. And they spotted the time when we all were out, because we were with my children yet before they got married.
Also the choice of the article, because laha is the given.
Yeah.
Alayha is
Also alayha. Yeah, you have to.
That is like a debt.
Yeah, عليك.
So I think interesting.
Again, ما كسبت عليها ما اكتسبت ربنا لا تؤاخذنا إن نسينا وأخطأنا. So here Allah Azza wa Jalla said, أولئك لهم نصيب مما كسبوا. They will have a share from what they earn, and Allah is quick in His settling the account. Now we're talking on line last week on the Zoom, how time is not actually Allah outside time. So for him, everything is there at the same time, past, present, future. So he's settling really very quick. He said, like, Sharawi was trying to explain it. If you want to stitch like a clothing, and you're sitting, you're talking to your wife, talking to people, it'll take you 6-7 hours. If you really want to finish it, you might finish it in 20 minutes. So صلى الله على سيدنا محمد النبي الأمي وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين.